again for another week of hardcore boxing news, and it's the first of the month. It's the first of the month, which means we're doing a new division. We are doing the middleweight division for our Filthy Five. We do the Filthy Five at the start of every month, but especially this month, we're going to be doing middleweights, which a year ago was a lot more exciting than it is this time, but we'll get into it later in the show. We got a bunch of news and some reviews to touch on as well. With our panel of experts, our first expert, of course, is the guinea pig whisperer himself, Filthy Rich. Filthy Rich, how you doing?
Congrats to Bobby Lashley on being the new WWE heavyweight champion of the world. I'll drink to you.
Everybody. Is he like LeBron James's cousin or something too? I mean, is there a connection there?
You never know, man. I'm sure there's 6 degrees of separation somewhere.
Right on. And our other expert, up in his new home there for the last few shows, up in the upper corner, is the one, the only, Judge Jimmy James. Judge, how are you doing?
Oh, don't worry, basketball fans. If you thought your team was the worst in basketball, the Minnesota Timberwolves would be there to catch your fall. All right, we're 1-13 in their last 14. And if that's not enough, after starting the year 10-2, the Golden Gophers of Minnesota are probably going to miss the NCAA tournament with their horrendous slide to 13-13. So what a great time to be a Minnesota basketball fan.
Well, hey, don't knock the Timberwolves. They did set a record. I don't know if you saw that. They are now officially the worst franchise in the history of sports, winning percentage-wise.
Yes, worse than the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Yes,
great.
Worse than that. That is amazing. So congrats to the T-Wolves. Good job. You finally won something. And but Rich doesn't want to hear about it unless it's LeBron James. So we better just move on to Brews and News. You guys ready?
Sure.
All right. Sure. All right, Brews and News. First thing we do, of course, is pop a brew. If James hasn't already done it already.
Already started,
of course. All right, gentlemen. Cheers.
8 count. Rich, wherever you throw that, do you ever get it in the trash or anything? Because I'm pretty sure I hear that just fall on the floor every week.
So, one time I got it right, and if you look at the video, I do like this when I actually made it. But every other time I've missed. Oh, well.
LeBron doesn't make every shot either.
And he's still the GOAT, just like yours truly. Yeah. I'll drink to that.
Well, speaking of the GOAT here, you're a little wrong about your little guess last week. Actually, we all were. Because Gervonta Davis has said who he's going to fight, and he's going to fight at 140. He's going to fight world champion Mario Barrios. Not at a catchweight as far as we know. That could change, obviously, because Davis has a hard time with weight sometimes, but seems to be a little more natural moving up. But that's 2 weight classes, I believe he's moving up. Filthy Rich, what do you think about Davis pulling the wool over your eyes and actually going to fight a world champion at 140?
Yeah, that one kind of hurts. Got that one wrong. Good one there, Filth. My guess is this guy just can't make weight. He can't make 130, so he had no choice but to go up to 135. The problem I have here is that these fighters at 135, this little square, I want to call it the love triangle, but there's like 4 or 5 guys in there. Why is he skipping over all these guys? I know he can beat everyone at 135, so why not fight at 135 and beat these guys? Instead, he moves up to 140 to fight Mario Barrios, where I think he can beat Barrios. I don't know if that's really a challenge, but is that where the money is? I don't think the money is fighting Mario Barrios. I think the money's fighting like a Ryan Garcia, who keeps talking trash to him. And I don't know if that fight, I mean, we want that fight to happen, but we're going to have to wait till 2022, or are we ever going to get this fight? I don't know.
Oh, it's an interesting fight, though. I mean, Barrios has definitely got a bigger height and reach advantage over him. He's got a lot of aggression, apparently, according to Bad Laugh Toke. He's got a lot of rampant aggression. So it should be a fireworks-style fight, as they say. Judge, are you looking forward to this fight, or do you think he should go back down to 135?
I'm gonna agree with Rich. He needs to stay at 135. What was it? Your love square? Is that what you're talking about?
Well, he said it's a love triangle with 5 guys. I don't think that's what it is. I think you should look that up on.
Well, then it's getting into an orgy.
Urban Dictionary or something.
I don't know what's happening with that, but either way, he's got to stay at 135. You're talking about getting money. Any of the fights at 135 is just straight bank. It doesn't even matter if he wins or loses. It's straight bank when that stuff's going to happen. So I mean, could be the making weight issue. I mean, fighting Barrios doesn't excite me. I'll watch it, but I mean, I'm pretty sure he'll beat Barrios. Hopefully, he goes back down at that point. Maybe it's just because he's trying to stay active. But yeah, I'm gonna have to agree with Rich.
And if he doesn't beat Barrios, what happens then?
Then he goes back down to 135 and fights other people
Well,
for
he's
more
gonna go to
money.
135 anyway. I mean, but you guys are both saying he should go to 135 anyway. So you're saying outcome of this fight doesn't really matter to Davis's career that much, even if he loses it.
Not to me. Loss is a loss. I mean, it just won't be undefeated stuff. But I don't think so.
Filthy Rich.
Yeah, I mean, I think he beats Barrios. I don't think this is. There's something about Davis. I think Davis could probably beat up a heavyweight. He looks like somebody who in grade school was probably in kindergarten beating up the sixth graders. I don't see anyone stopping Davis at 140 or 135 or 130. I don't even know. 147 is probably where he meets a challenge, but I know he's not going to 147 now. But yeah, no, I think the money's at 135. Something's going on where I don't know who passes on all that money to fight Barrios, unless Barrios is like giving up a bunch of money just to make this fight happen. But I don't know, 135 should be where he's at unless he can't make weight. But even then, fight Garcia at a catch weight, fight Haney at a catch weight, Lomachenko at a catch weight. You have plenty of options, and to go after Barrios, I mean, we'll see it when it happens. We'll see if contracts get signed and whatnot. But I mean, that's the lead story right now.
Well, if you're gonna fight at a catchweight, you might as well get paid. You know who's gonna get paid fighting against? Amir Khan. We didn't get one last week, but we got it this week. Yeah, let's fight
Welcome
a catchweight
back.
at 160.
Welcome back, Amir.
Amir Khan fighting Amir Khan at 160 catchweight. Why not? They both need that change. Why not? James, you disagree?
Yes.
Okay.
Move on.
I figured you would. All right, let's move on to the next bit of news here. Zurdo, Gilberto Ramirez is in the news here for making a terrible, terrible decision, just like getting back with your ex after she cheated on you 3 times. He's signing with Golden Boy. Didn't know Golden Boy was still signing people. Everyone seems to be leaving Golden Boy. This is the first time I've heard of anyone signing with Golden Boy. Is this a smart move? Is he become the #1 horse for Golden Boy, or is he just going to fall in oblivion and not get to fight anyone because Oscar De La Hoya doesn't know how to make a fight? James, we'll start with you.
So we talked about Ramirez leaving Top Rank in the summer. That was a big story because it was just a weird time to get rid of a promotion, given that there really wasn't too many fights happening. And I thought he was really going to go on his own, and other people from other promotions did, start to go on their own as far as this goes. And then he goes and signs with, which in my opinion, has got to be like the worst promotion company that they have going right now. Like, everybody wants, you lose Canelo Alvarez and you're about, it sounds like you're going to lose Ryan Garcia. Like, you are about, oh man, poor choice, man.
He's top dog now.
I feel bad. I feel bad because this kid's still right in his prime. I feel bad. This is a poor choice. I don't think a fight's ever going to get made when he signs with this. He says a multi-year deal or a multi-fight deal. Good luck. Multi-fight deal, like 2 fights in 10 years. Best of luck to you, man. It's a damn shame, but I don't know. I think it's a poor choice.
Yeah, he says Golden Boy was the best fit, and De La Hoya is happy to add another, quote, quality in-prime fighter to the Golden Boy roster. I'm not exactly sure who he's talking about with him, but Filthy Rich, what do you think about? Did Zurdo ruin his career going to Golden Boy, at least for the next few years?
This may just be what he needed to do to get this fight with Bivol. And I know we talked about this last time when Canelo left Golden Boy and there was something going on with Matchroom. How I don't even know if Canelo signed with Matchroom, but I think this is another sneaky way for Eddie Hearn to get into the ear of Zurdo Ramirez. Bivol is with Matchroom Boxing. they're making this fight happen. By the time this fight's over, don't be surprised if Ramirez ends up with Eddie Hearn. I think this is a tricky ploy by Eddie Hearn, and good for him. I don't know how De La Hoya got Ramirez to sign with them. I don't know what's going on. Again, it may just be a one-fight deal just because he wants Bivol, and maybe Bivol is the big money fight right now. I would think it's Beterbiev, but with Beterbiev on Top Rank, that fight probably wouldn't happen. So the next big name you got is Bivol, and now that fight can be made on DAZN. So I don't know the details of this contract, but good for De La Hoya. He got a good one here. There's no doubt about that.
Yeah, he took a stab in the dark and got one. It says it's a multi-fight deal with his next fight to be announced soon. I guess they have to find somebody in the train yard to fight him because De La Hoya doesn't make good fights anymore. So, James, you have a final thought on what Filthy Rich said there?
I will be surprised if they make a fight happen in 2021.
All right, that's too bad. I guess we won't be seeing Zurdo on TV anytime soon. Just too bad. All right, let's move on to the final bit of news here before we get into our reviews section. Wouldn't be a show unless we talk about Canelo Alvarez, and he says the Jamal Charlo fight must happen. Canelo coming off a televised sparring match that we'll talk about in Brews and Reviews coming up here. But that would be an amazing fight to happen, Jamal and Canelo. And he says it must happen. But will it happen, Rich? Will it happen?
It's not going to happen this year. That's almost a guarantee. I think if you just look at what Canelo wants to do for the rest of the year, he's got some names he may want to take care of. He's probably starting with Caleb Plant or who even knows at this point, but he has stated he is staying at 168. As long as Charlo is at 160, I don't think this fight's going to happen. I don't think Charlo's moving up to 168 anytime soon. He has guys that he can fight at 160. So does it have to happen? I think it has to happen, but don't hold your breath for this. This will be 3 or 4 fights down the line before contract talks even begin. And even after that, we know how that stuff plays out. It may not even happen when contract negotiations go underway. I don't expect this fight to happen anytime soon. It has to happen, but I don't know if it even happens, be honest with you.
Why is he bringing it up now then, you think?
He's probably grilled on the question. You got to answer the question somehow. I think the boxing world probably believes Jamal Charlo is like the number one guy at the middleweight division. Canelo, you're the number one guy at super middleweight, if not pound for pound overall. But I think it is a dream fight, and he just he got the question, he had to answer it, and he gave a really good answer that it has to happen. I mean, what else is he supposed to say?
I have no idea. James, what else should he say?
I'm going to disagree with Rich. I think this happens at the end of the year. Canelo's already stated that he wants to fight nonstop in 2021. Nonstop. He's already fought twice. Then he's got another fight. It's not even halfway through the year, and he's going to have another fight lined up. After he beats BJS, he's going to fight Plant. After that, he's going to fight Charlo. I don't see why it wouldn't happen. Now, the weight would be the biggest issue if he can figure out if he can drop to 160. But Canelo seems to go all over the place whenever he wants, so he doesn't have a problem, eating Chipotle and just getting that down to lose 8 pounds. So, I mean,
that's the true tainted meat.
Yeah, I'm gonna disagree. So we'll see who's right at the end of 2021. But I think in December of 2021, that'll be your Merry Christmas fight right there. It'll be Alvarez versus Charlo. I think after Alvarez takes over 168.
I think Benavidez gets a fight before Charlo, and that should wrap up Canelo's 2021. I also think Charlo has other fights, someone like, maybe Andrade. I don't know, but he's got some other fights that possibly could be made. It's tough fighting on the PBC at middleweight because there's really no guys. All the guys at 160 are on other networks, so it's difficult. But I don't think Charlo moves up to 168 by the end of the year. And if anything, Canelo would probably move up to 175 before he drops down to 160.
Yeah, I'm
I'll
forced to
be
agree
the
with-
judge of that.
I'm forced to agree with Rich here, 'cause,
Ta-da!
Alvarez, Canelo, he's made it very clear he wants to clean out the 168. And he wants to do it as fast as possible. He's not going to go down to 160. So
I
Charlo would
literally
have,
just told you how it's going to happen.
Charlo would have to go up to 168.
No, he doesn't. Sit back and relax. Sit back and watch the show. All
I
right.
was any more relaxed, I'd be in a coma.
Mute him, Raider.
I mean, he's getting close.
You can't handle the truth.
Ooh, Jack Nicholson. You're dropping Jack Nicholson bomb.
No, quote Judge Jimmy James. Have you seen the back of his Brews and Boxing shirt? Oh yeah, it's don't call him the sauce.
That's right. We haven't brought a sauce reference in a while. We should bring that one back.
Thought we forgot, didn't we?
Yeah. All right. Let's move on to brews and reviews because this goes right into the next section here of our fights of last weekend. All right, brews and reviews is where we talk about fights that happened this last weekend. Apologize that our last show got out a little late. I know you saw our previews for the Canelo fight last week, but everyone kind of knew what was going to happen. They got a little late out because I had some computer issues. As I said, the hamster that runs my internet apparently died, but we should be able to fix that now. But before we get into that glorified sparring match, we're going to talk about Dorello versus Davis. Rich, you're going to take this one away from me. I didn't actually get to see this fight, so explain what I missed.
Well, I'll get to first the undercards. There's
Undercard, schmundercard.
there's a guy named Michel Rivera who is probably going to be talked about in the next coming years. I think he's 18 years old, I believe out of the Dominican Republic, maybe Puerto Rico, but he's being compared to Felix Trinidad, and he's wearing they say he's wearing the shorts of the greats like Sugar Ray Robinson and Muhammad Ali. So we'll be talking about this guy in the years to come unless we get canceled. Another undercard, there was a Ramos, is Abel Ramos's nephew, 19 years old. He looked pretty good, got an early knockout. But yeah, those two guys, they are, I think they're maybe not the future of each division, but they have a future in boxing, definitely. Now with the Dorello fight against Kyron Davis, it was scored a split draw. One guy had Davis winning, one guy had Dorello winning. The other judge had it 114-114. Marcos Villegas, unofficial scorecard for the PBC, had Dorello winning. Sounded like Lennox Lewis, Joe Goosen, and Kenny, Brian Kenny all had Dorello winning. So this was kind of a shocker. My personal opinion, I had Dorello winning, but I could see it being a draw at best. I didn't think Kyron Davis won this fight at all. It almost reminds me of like a Canelo Triple G2, where one guy, or maybe not that fight, maybe Lopez Loma, where we know Lomachenko did not win, but it could have been a draw. It had fingerprints all over it. I thought Anthony Dorello won this fight barely, but I'm not upset with a draw.
They're gonna have a rematch. You think? Was it a good enough fight to make some money on a rematch or not?
Maybe, but I doubt it. I think they need to go their separate ways. But Kyron Davis, I think, is gonna be in this division. I mean, he's a real dog in this division. No pun intended to the dog, Anthony Dorello. But Anthony Dorello is only getting older. Father Time's catching up with him. I don't know how much of a career he has left, but Davis will be around for a while.
Judge, you have any comment on that?
Nah.
Good talk.
It
All right.
was a
Dynamite
draw,
drop,
man.
Dynamite drop in,
man.
Monty. That broadcast school is really paying off for you there, James. All right, let's move to the main fight of the weekend. Candela versus Gildrum. There's some good undercard fights on there too. James, I want you to talk about them a little bit before we get to the main card of Canelo Gildrum, because that's not going to take long.
No, well, I mean, so when I watched this, there was one big an undercard fight that should have just been a walk in the park for the heavyweight division in Big Bang Zhang going against Jerry Forrest, where Jerry Forrest got knocked down in each of the first 3 rounds and ended up fighting his way back to a draw without knocking Zhang down. So that just shows you right there how terrible Zhang was, the guy who's been calling out Anthony Joshua for a fight. How terrible this man is. I watched the fight. I couldn't believe it. He got a point deduction in the 10th because the ref literally warned him for 4 straight rounds to stop pushing Forrest's head down and putting him in a headlock. Finally got a point taken away and was about this close to getting knocked out and losing the fight. I really wish that Jerry Forrest would have knocked him out, got that win, because man, that was the most entertaining fight that I saw that on that day. Obviously, I didn't get to see the Showtime fight, so maybe it was fourth fiddle according to Rich's assessment here. But yeah, I mean, that was amazing. I couldn't believe it. But kudos to you, Jerry Forrest. Way to get that draw. But then to go on to the next one.
Wait, just real quick question, or not question, comment. I found a little trivia for our people there. Big Bang Zhang actually stole the nickname from Big Baby Miller before Big Baby Miller got it. Big Baby Miller was supposed to be called the Big Bang.
Well, I guess he dodged a bullet on that one.
Oh, no one dodges a bullet when Big Baby's around.
Fair. That's fair.
All right. What was the other one?
Then there is no other. Moving on to the Canelo.
Oh, we're moving to Canelo. Okay.
Yeah, this is
the No Mas fight. The Gildrum says he should be the favorite as he No Mas in the corner.
Yeah, that was exactly what I expected. Drilled him real quick. Canelo was literally putting on a clinic, no problem. A 1-2 punch to the face, jab straight, and then Gildrum was down. 3rd round ended, didn't come out of the corner. I don't even know if he answered his trainer, because his trainer literally said 4 times, if you don't show me something in the 4th round, I'm going to stop the fight. And he kept looking away, like looking to the left and looking to the left.
Will someone answer that phone?
Like, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know what he was doing, but it was a joke. Canelo did exactly what he was supposed to. Gildrum hadn't fought in like 2 years. Good riddance, man.
Well, the biggest tragedy from that fight, though, James, is that he didn't answer the bell for the 4th, and you had 4th round knockout. So if you would have answered the bell, then you could have won. You would have got that one. You said 4th round knockout.
It's close.
It was that close. If you would have got up, I think you would have won that one. But no, you had to No Mas in the corner.
Either way, whatever, man. I'll call it close. I don't care. But that's all I got on that.
All right, Filthy Rich. I know that technically counts as a fight for Canelo, but as he's going to fight 5 times this year. But where does he go from there? I know he's got a fight with BJS coming up, and I think he's probably going to take care of BJS pretty easily as well. But what do you think about this Gildrum tune-up sparring match for BJS?
I think the Saunders fight, I think it'll be a good fight, but I could be wrong on this one. Canelo might just wipe the floor with him. An undisciplined Saunders can get beat up, but a very disciplined Saunders could win the fight. If the guy is disciplined and plays on the bicycle and stick and move, Debo, you should have been bobbing and weaving. BJ Saunders could win this fight, but he has to be, like Max Kellerman said about Andre Ward, has to be 100%. He has to be ready for this fight, and I don't know if he is, given his history. I also think, we just talked about Jamal Charlo. After Saunders, what's next for Canelo? I think he's going to take Benavidez. He's going to take a Benavidez fight before he fights Caleb Plant. Caleb Plant kept chirping about fighting here on Fox. Canelo ain't fighting on Fox. So I think that's how the fight doesn't happen, is trying to force Canelo over to Fox. So after Saunders and after Benavidez, he either takes another garbage tune-up fight at 168, and then he goes on. He ends someone's career at 175. I'm thinking like a Jean Pascal. He might even I think a fight with Badu Jack could happen, but that's where I see Canelo moving after Saunders, kind of that direction.
Right on. Any final thoughts there, James? Any retort?
No.
He's got no retorts today. He's got nothing. You've hit every topic perfect, Rich. Apparently, we have no response. That was perfect.
What more do you expect from me?
Well, it's the first of the month, boys. That means it's time for our Filthy Five. All right, Filthy Five rules. We take a division and we each do our top 10 in that division, and then we make a point system where the top person gets 10 points, the second person gets 9 points, and so on, so on, so on. Then we add up all the points, and that's our group top 5 is basically where we're going with here. And we're doing middleweights this time. This time around, it's a lot different than the middleweight division was the last time we did middleweights. I'll tell you that. We do have 2 rules though. Since Canelo's mainly fighting at 168 and hasn't taken a fight at 160 forever, we did not consider Canelo a middleweight, so he is not on the list. And sadly, since he's only fought at middleweight once, Amir Khan is also not on the list. Any chance to take this? But anyway, I know you guys are all disappointed that I'm probably sure you had Amir Khan in your top 5 at least. I know I did, but we didn't do that. So we'll go 5, 4, and 3, and then we'll do the runner-ups, and then we'll get into our top 2. Sound good to you guys?
Yeah.
Let's do it.
Good talk. All right. We'll do it live.
Give me some time to respond. Woo!
All right. Our number 5 boxer in our middleweight division with 17 points is Sergey Dirvincinko.
It's terrible.
I know I can't pronounce his name ever. It's awful. I apologize. I had him at 6. James, you had him at 5. Richie had him at 5. Coming off a loss to Charlo, but still a force in this division. Had a great fight against Triple G when he fought him. Since you both had him at 5, I will start with Rich to give Jim time to respond about Dirvincinko at 5.
James' response game is at a 0 right now. He's just gonna say move on. So I have Derevyanchenko basically at number 5. Look, a year ago, this was a pretty deep division, but with no Jacobs and no Saunders and no Canelo, this division isn't what it used to be. So Derevyanchenko at number 5, he is kind of, I don't want to use like the term gatekeeper, but
you use it a lot.
He is a solid number 5. I think he beats my 6 through 10. He beats everybody else. I mean, his only losses were to Danny Jacobs and Gennady Golovkin and Jermall Charlo. There's no shame in losing to them guys. But the other couple I had ahead of them, I just think if they went one-on-one, Derevyanchenko can't beat my 1 through 4. So that's why I have him at number 5.
I had him at 6 because I don't think he can beat my 4 or my 5, obviously. But some people did say he won that Triple G fight too. So I mean, there's debate in that. I don't think he did, but there's debate. There's debate out there. That's what I'm talking about. Judge, what do you think about the Sergey? I'm not going to try to pronounce it again.
Look, man, Derevyanchenko at number 5. I put him at 5 because of his only losses, right? He is getting old. He is now becoming the gatekeeper or the stepping stone in that division. He is going to be a name for some of these guys to fight, up-and-comers to fight, just because he's only lost to Jermall Charlo, Triple G, Daniel Jacobs, and he's going to keep losing. I just don't. I think he's past it. I mean, 5 is a good spot because he's obviously not someone you can look past, but I think he's just that stepping stone for everyone beneath him, or even for a couple of the people that I have higher in my 3 and 4 position. But yeah, I mean, that's just that's all. That's pretty much it. I think he's the gatekeeper and stepping stone in the middleweight division in 2021.
Right on. So Sergey Dirvincinko comes in at number 5. At number 4, we had our first Raider mess up for you guys here a little bit. Our number 4 is Jamie Munguia. Munguia. How did I do that? Munguia?
Terrible.
Not good.
No, I practiced Jamie Munguia. That's how I was told it was. It's not Munguia. No,
It's not Jamie for one.
Yeah, for one, it's not Jamie.
It's Jaime.
oh, it's Jaime.
Yeah.
Well, I was close. I got that. Did I get Munguia right? At least.
And we're back.
Hey, I was just going off of Google. I can,
Jamie
because
Munguia.
you know when I've watched like 4 or 5 different people call his fights, and they all pronounce it a different way. So I just went off of Google. It's basically
Fair.
Anyway, I had him ranked at number 7. James, you had him at 4. Richie, you had him all the way up at 3.
Ooh.
So we'll start with Rich because you had him up higher. What do you think about Jaime?
Jamie Munguia.
Jaime.
Jamie
You may-
Munguia.
So Jaime Munguia was like a
Jamie
promising
Munguia.
dude at 154. I think he was the one who beat Saddam Ali for the lineal championship that Cotto once had. And he beat it's kind of unfair when you fight a guy, how do I put it without, let's just do it. It was during Ramadan, and some of the like Islamic fighters who fight around Ramadan, they just don't do well. So it was a perfect opportunity for Munguia to make a name for himself. He beat up Saddam Ali, and I haven't heard from Saddam Ali since. At 154, he did really well, decided to move up here about a year or so ago. And I think the competition's tougher. I thought he'd be able to clean out pretty much everyone who wasn't a big name at 160. He's taken on some lesser opponents and going like the distance with these guys. People are putting up tough fights against Munguia where he should be beating people up. I had him at 3 because I think he beats everybody below him on my list. But he is a good, clean fighter. There's no flaws in his game to my eyeballs.
Interesting. He is only 24 years old and with a record of 36-0. That's pretty impressive. That's a lot of fights early on in his career there. Judge, you had him at 4, right on where he's on our list here. You have anything to add to what Rich said?
Oh yeah, man. I think.
Oh, you had something to add
oh,
this
you
time?
Yes,
Oh,
I do.
really?
I got something to
Yeah.
add. Munguia.
Oh, we
Munguia's
could just rip on how I pronounce things after 3 beers, but we
Hey, that's fine, man. If you want to talk about if there's any excitement in this middleweight
you
division,
froze. You froze.
did I? Well,
Yeah.
I didn't see it. Anyway, if there's any excitement in the middleweight division, Jaime Munguia, this is the
Jamie
guy. This is
Munguia.
the guy that you want to see. He is up and I watched him punch Johnson's face off. He broke his lip off and it went good, and it was disgusting.
Oh yeah.
This boy has got so much power. He's only 24 years old. He is only going to get better. If his power stays the same and he gets more technical, he's going to be a force in the middleweight division. He's going to be the one that you talk about in any of these major conversations. So he's at 4 because he's only had that one fight. He really hasn't had any like big name. I mean, O'Sullivan, he did beat Ali, like Rich said. I mean, Torreno Johnson, he broke, literally punched his lip off of his face. It was so gross. I mean, he did beat Liam Smith. But I mean, he's, I don't know, man. I'm excited for this guy. Mexican style fighter, super young.
I was going to ask you, is he the main essence of when you think of what a Mexican style fighter is? Is this who you think of?
No,
No?
but he's still exciting.
Rich, do you?
I mean, he's close, but like when I think of the Mexican style of fighting, it's usually at a lighter weight. So for being at 160, I mean, I'll take it. I guess. I think he has Golden Boy written all over him pretty soon.
Oh,
That's
please,
very
no.
That's disappointing. Well, then that's why he's at 7 on my list. He's flying down now.
Raider, what's his name again?
Jamie Munguia.
Moving on. Jaime Munguia.
Jamie
I
Munguia.
like it.
So close.
Hey, as I said, I watched 3 fights of his, and I couldn't understand any of the ones. They're all in Spanish. I couldn't understand how they're pronouncing it. They're saying it too fast.
No,
So then I tried to look it up. American pronunciation of a Mexican boxer, and it says Jaime Munguia.
Jamie
So,
Munguia.
Works for me.
Not
Munguia.
even listen to it. Listen, you can hear
Jamie Munguia.
No, we're good.
it. Jamie Munguia is how they say it.
It's Jaime.
I know, but that's what they said. All right, now that we made me look like an idiot, let's move on to number 3 here. with 23 points. Demetrius Andrade. Anyway, at 23 points. I had him at 3. James, you also had him at 3. Richie, you had him at 4, which is you're saying that Munguia could beat
Jamie
him.
Munguia.
So you said you could beat everyone below you.
I mean, you say it better than me, but yeah.
But we got Demetrius Andrade at 3. Let's see. James, you had him at 3. Right on the mark again. 3rd time in a row. Right on the mark. What do you think of that?
Well, I'll drink to that.
Oh,
Copyright
good
Filthy
talk.
Rich for sure. But yeah, I mean, so Andrade is at 3 for me because he keeps, I don't know, man, this is tough. I can't put him any lower for me, right? Because I think he has the skills to do it. However, he's 33 years old. He keeps getting older and older and older, and he's not making fights. He's been inactive for over a year now. I have watched fighters in the past year that were inactive get dropped because they're just not staying. Look at Canelo Alvarez. He's staying active. He's dominating. Look at Berchelt. Not active, gets knocked out by Valdez. He didn't even look right when he came off the mark that entire fight, right? I am afraid that Boo Boo is going to make a boo boo, and he's going to do the same thing because he's going to fight somebody that's going to put him in his place, and he's not going to be ready for it because he has not been active. However, I mean, he has no real big names, but I can't even say the Polish dude, Suliki. Don't know
Not
that.
even close.
Probably not. You can laugh at that all day, man. And then Matrosian, man. Those are the only 2 guys that I've seen him beat. He can't get a fight. He needs to get a fight. He needs to fight somebody in this top 10. I don't care what list, somebody in the top 10, so he can actually start moving forward to get a bigger fight, to fight, somebody up on this list. But I don't know. That's
Like
what I
a
got.
Derevyanchenko? That'd be a good fight.
Sure, why not? He's a stepping stone for everybody. Do it.
Yeah, why not? Filthy Rich, you had him down at 4. We got him at 3. What do you think about Andre?
I mean, this basically came down to who do I think would win between Jaime Munguia,
Jamie Munguia.
whatever
Jamie
Rare called him,
Munguia.
and Demetrius Andrade. The 2 of them are close. I'm going to take the boxer over the puncher. I feel like Munguia
Jamie
has all the
Munguia.
tools. He has fewer flaws in his game than Andrade. I think Andrade's a very good boxer, but I think his style is more power, and he's more of a fighter. And I'm taking Munguia if they went
Jamie
head to
Munguia.
head. But Andrade, I also think, is being ducked. I think there is some sort of fear factor from other fighters. I don't think they want Andrade, so they can't get fights. He went on Kellerman's show to, all the smoke or whatever the new segment is, and called out whoever he could call out. He called out C something. He called out anyone with the last name C, or Canelo and Charlo. And if you have a C in your name, I want you. So I think people are ducking him. I don't know if he's a big money fighter, like we talk about risk reward. He's probably high risk, low reward, so nobody wants any of that. But again, I had him at 4 because I think if him and Munguia go head to head,
Jamie
I take
Munguia.
Munguia with a slight edge.
You agree with that, Judge, or not?
Yeah, he does. I'll drink to that.
Oh, dang. I got a retort for this.
Because you were going like this, like
Yeah,
like you
I
had something to
was.
say.
So because you said it was the boxer against the puncher, and I think that Andrade is the better boxer and Munguia is the better
Jamie
puncher.
Munguia.
I think he's got more power. So I think it's flipped. I think it's flipped. However, I mean, I can't necessarily disagree that on your assessment that Munguia would be
Jamie
boo-boo. I think
Munguia.
that'd be a good fight. You want to have a good fight, there's a good fight right there. Make it. Up and comer, someone who needs to prove himself. Boom. Done. I sold it. No golden boy. No mas golden boy.
All right, before we get into our top two, which is they're a close top two. I think we know who the top two boxers are. We may not know the order. Let's touch a little bit on some of our honorable mentions. We only had 11 boxers in this one, so only Filthy Rich had one that was me and Jim didn't have ranked. Me and Jim agreed on all 10 boxers in the top 10. Coming in at 6 with 15 points was Murata. Coming in 7th with 13 points was Rob Brandt. 8th was Chris Eubank Jr. with 12 points. Liam Smith with 4 points came in 9th. Liam Williams came in 10th with 3 points. And then the one Rich had that no one else had was Joey Spencer with 2 points. And Judge pre-show tried to guess who it was. He guessed Shane Mosley and Tyrone Davis. He was definitely wrong.
Wild card,
wait.
bitches.
Shane Mosley Jr.
Yeah, that's what.
Yeah,
he
I
had.
don't know, man.
That's who
I
we
was
thought you had, isn't
stabbing.
and Kyron Davis, who fights at 168. He fought Dorello at 168 just on Saturday. Anyways,
And Jim was very adamant that it was going to be Tyrone Davis. It's this one for sure.
Joey Spencer is blue chip. He doesn't have the resume to be in the top 5 or anything, but I think he puts up a good fight with even Dirvincinko, and that fight could happen. Spencer has some work to do before he gets a fight like that, but Spencer is really good. Joey Spencer, I've been watching that kid for a while, and he's pretty impressive.
Oh, I like Rob Brandt, obviously, Minnesota hometown guy that we have to jump in on there. I had him at 5. James, you had him at 7. Richie, you had him at 8. I have him just behind Murata at 4, which you guys had at 8 and 6, respectively. Those two had some battles. You know, Rob Brandt won the first one by unanimous decision, then got knocked out by Murata. That's why I put him a little further. Barely. We all kind of had Chris Eubank at the same kind of spot. I had him at 8. James had him at 6. Richie had him at 7. And then Liam Smith, me and James both had him at 9. And Liam Williams, me and James both had him at 10. And actually, Richie had him at 10 too. So Liam Williams, we all agree that you are the 10th best boxer in this division. Any other comments that you guys have about any of the backups there that we have? Anyone do you want to touch on?
I'll go, man. No, you could have just cut my list off at 5, to be honest. Like the 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. What a shamble, man. If you go back like 3 years, 2 or just even 2 years, the names that were in this division was Alvarez, Triple G, Miguel Cotto, BJS, Daniel Jacobs, David Lemieux. Those are just 6 top ones right there. Way better than what's happening right now in this division, which was just, I didn't know it was that bad. I really apologize for everyone who follows the middleweight division. I'm very sorry.
We should go back in time and watch our middleweight episode. Wow. What episode is that? Do you guys know?
Let's just say this. I wasn't a part of it.
It was like 2, probably episode
2?
2 or 3, something like that. Yeah.
Sounds about right. It was way back when. You remember who we had number 1 then? It had to be Canelo, right?
Yeah, it was.
Yeah. All right. Interesting. Also, you guys didn't have any love for Rob Brandt moving in front of Dirvincinko or Munguia?
Jamie Munguia.
No hometown love for Rob Brandt?
I got him at 7.
I know. Why didn't you have him higher is my question.
Do something.
All right, good talk. Filthy Rich, you agree with James for once?
I mean, I have Brandt where I think he belongs. I think he could beat some of these other guys, but he has to go out there and beat some of these other guys. I mean, Eubank and Billy Joe Saunders had a close fight. Brandt knocked out Murata in Japan on his turf at it was 6 a.m. on a Sunday when I watched that fight. So, in a rematch, Murata beat him. I don't think Brandt is on the downs, on a downslide. I think he could move up in the rankings, but let's give him another year. We'll see where we have him next year. See if he stays in this division or moves up. But he has all the potential in the world to move up. So, it's not the end of his career. He's but I have him 8 because I think that's kind of where he belongs objectively.
Well, looking at our first list of middleweights on episode 2, that was almost a year ago. So yeah, it's amazing how much this division changes in just a year. You know, so who knows who we'll be talking about? We'll probably talk about Joey Spencer next time. 1 or 2. Right? I guarantee you this: we're not going to be talking about Shane Mosley Jr. But
Thanks, James.
Hey, Shane, name drop. What's up?
all right, let's move on to our number 2 here. Our number 2 came in at 28 points. He's my guy. It really pained me to put him at 2. Is Gennady Golovkin at number 2. I had him at 2. James had him at 2. Richie had him at 1. Gennady Golovkin coming off a great fight, looking like his old self again. But it feels like I keep reading reports that he's not. It almost sounds like he's dodging Charlo, which makes me kind of bring it down a little bit. He struggled against Dirvincinko. He hasn't beat anybody of real prominence since then, or since the Canelo things. He's still looking at around here. He's still top 2 of this division, obviously, because this division has definitely changed. I think we probably had him at 2 last time as well. Filthy Rich, you had him at 1, though, so why should he be the best in this division?
He beat Canelo twice.
Did beat Canelo twice. I agree.
I think he beat Canelo twice. Made a trainer change and got super defensive. But his last fight with Sarameda was a stamp on this division. As far as Charlo goes, Charlo doesn't have as deep a resume as Golovkin. Charlo just beat Dirvincinko and beat him handily. I know that's their common opponent right there, where Derevchenko gave Golovkin a hard time. But this one's tough because even head to head, Charlo could win. I mean, we look at someone like Joshua and Fury. I have Joshua ranked ahead of Fury, but come head to head, Fury could beat Joshua. But I have to go with their body of work, and Golovkin has a better body of work than Charlo. As far as ducking and all this other stuff goes, that's just the politics of the sport. They're both high risk fighters. They're probably both low reward fighters. So if the money's not there, the fight won't happen. I don't think there's really any ducking and dodging on this one, but I'd like to see it happen. But and if I had to take someone, I think Vegas would have Charlo winning. I think Charlo would win. I don't know. I don't want to think about it, but I have Golovkin 1 because of his body of work, plain and simple.
They should just have a Charlo versus Golovkin fight. Winner gets a signed contract with Canelo. There you go. There's where you fight it out. James, you had him at 2, which means you had a perfect score. It looks like coming in number 1 here, unless there's any weird things that happen. Number 1, perfect score going in. It's basically the judge's list here. You have Golovkin at 2. You have anything to add to Rich's statements?
I mean, I've got him at 2 because he looked good in his last fight. I think Charlo is the man to beat. I do understand that he's only fought Derevchenko, but Golovkin looked good. I mean, if Golovkin comes out like he did in his last fight, then if he fights Charlo, oh boy, that's gonna be a fun fight to watch. I'll tell you that right now. That is gonna be an awesome fight to watch. I mean, crap, I would even be happy with Triple G fighting Boo Boo, man. That would be another fun fight to watch because I think Triple G would beat Boo Boo, even though I think Boo Boo is the more technical fighter. Either way, man, I got Triple G at 2 because I think Charlo's the up and comer. If Triple G can sustain what he did in his last fight, not fall off or change anything up or regress, then I think that's gonna be a fantastic fight to fight. But I got him at 2. Could put him at 1 easy with Rich's argument, 100%. But I just threw where I got him.
I agree. It's kind of a 1-1A situation. It's a sad situation. It's really top heavy, this division has become. But it'd be nice to see Triple G of old, have 3 or 4 more fights like that.
Hold on. I'm done with you.
What?
Done with me for what? I didn't even do anything.
He's
Both of
talking
you.
to the judge.
It was both of you.
Oh,
All right. Well,
I tried to take it.
All right, let's move on to our number 1 then. With 29 points, I had him at 1. James had him at 1. Richie had him at 2. Of course, it is Amir Khan.
Oh my God.
James, with his love with Amir Khan, had him at 1. I had him at 1 as well. Richie had him at 2 because he got Golovkin to beat Amir Khan. But Amir Khan got disqualified off our list late, so James had to replace him. And he replaced him with the same guy I did as Jamal Charlo. And then Rich also replaced him with Jamal Charlo as well. He's the number 1 in this division right now. James, you had him at 1. Richie had it 2. So why don't you explain why he's number 1 in your mind?
Oh, well, I kind of just touched on it a hot minute ago, but that's what I think. I think he's the up-and-coming fighter in 160. He's the better of the Charlo brothers, in my opinion. I think he's more disciplined. I think he's the better technical fighter. I think he still has the power that's going to translate to this division. I think the only real threat that he has is Triple G. I don't think he loses to Boo Boo. I don't think he loses to Munguia, although I think the better fight would be against Munguia. And everybody else, he's just going to walk over. So I don't know how long he honestly stays here in this division, but this is why I got him at number 1, because I think he gives Triple G the run for his money, probably beats him, and, I think he's going to beat everybody else.
I don't think he knocks Triple G down. I'll tell you this. It will go.
I didn't say that.
I'm just saying.
Good for you. I didn't say that.
I didn't.
You made it sound like I said that.
No, I didn't say that.
I
I also have him at 1, just because maybe not body of work as much as Triple G, but the age factor is a big deal too. He's only 30 years old. And then, of course, the like opponents of Dirvincinko. Triple G really struggled with him. And Charlo made mincemeat out of him, basically. It's a little scary. I just still don't see him knocking down or knocking out Golovkin, but I can see him winning on the cards in a very Canelo-like fight, maybe a 7-5 fight. Filthy Rich, you had him at 2. What do you think? Anything to add?
Yeah, well, I mean, add him at 2 because I think he beats everyone below him on my list. I think he beats the likes of Munguia and
Jamie
Derevyanchenko
Munguia.
and Andrade, everyone else. Head-to-head with Golovkin, I think it goes to the scorecards with Charlo probably winning. Just like you said, he ain't knocking Golovkin down. He ain't knocking Golovkin out.
Yeah.
But I think he is about a step, not even a half step. He's probably a full step ahead of Golovkin as far as like speed goes. Golovkin, to me, has slowed down a little bit, but it is like there's a significant amount of slowdown where Charlo goes the distance with Golovkin in a fantasy fight, and I think Charlo beats him. And again, the only reason I have Golovkin number 1 is because he's beaten the better competition. He beat Canelo twice. Charlo has nothing like that on his resume, so I took that into account.
Not yet. Not yet. I mean, it's still early. But, I'd love to see Triple G work the body against the Hitman. I think that would be how he would beat him, break him down in the body. But that's how I look at it. So that's our list, guys. Charlo, Golovkin, Andrade, Munguia,
Jamie
and
Munguia.
Dervincinko. Followed by Murata, Brandt, Eubank Jr., Liam Smith, Liam Williams, and Joey Spencer. That's our list. Not another bad, pretty good list. Any final thoughts on the list here, boys? Think we got it right? Well, Jim knows thinks we got it right because he got 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 all in his order there.
Great list.
Filthy Rich, you agree with the list? All your top 5 guys were in the top 5.
Yeah, I mean, I think this was a list of top 5 and then the best of the rest. And after number 5, that 6 through like 11, 12, 13 chunk is kind of you can kind of mix them up and you can't get it wrong.
Right.
Unless you're James.
Nah, I call that a poop slushy.
Yeah, the poop slushy, you call it. Hey, James, you want to brag about you getting 1 through 5 correct? Oh, sorry. What did he say?
Yeah, right.
Is something wrong with your mic? I can't hear you. Well, I'm sure if he gets his mic fixed, he could probably tell you that he's very humbled and honored to be on this show with us, and agrees that our list was probably was significantly better, but he's just really happy to be here. I'm sure that's talking for old Judge Jimmy James up there. All right, Filthy Rich, why don't you take us home?
2 big things happened actually yesterday, but we'll recognize them right now. Method Man, one of the greatest rappers of all time, turned 50 years old. And 35 years ago, Metallica dropped Master of Puppets. They released Master of Puppets, and it's in like the Library of Congress. They performed on Colbert last night. They performed, I believe it was Master of Puppets or maybe Battery. I don't remember. My favorite song is Sanitarium. That's all I got.
Well, thanks for making me feel even older.
5 years ago.
Yeah. It made me feel really old there now. It's not good. Also, I wanted to say we didn't get to touch on it last week, but get well soon, Tiger Woods. You're my favorite golfer. He was in that horrible car accident, broke both his legs and his ankle. I hope he comes back stronger than ever. He's a joy to watch. I've seen him in person a couple times, and I have a great Tiger Woods story where I was this close to him. If you're listening to us, I was about a foot away from him. It was a really cool story. I'll tell that some other day. But Judge Jimmy James, we had some changes to the channel. Why don't you discuss that a little bit on where can they see us and where can they hear us?
Well, if you are listening to us and you want to watch us, you can actually go to our newer YouTube channel, YouTube.com/Brews and Boxing. We have changed the link. Raider did some magic with the YouTubes, and we now have it so you can go to YouTube.com/Brews and Boxing. YouTube.com/Brews and Boxing. Don't worry about it. You'll find it. Look in Google. It'll come up right away. Otherwise, if you want to listen to us, iHeartRadio, Deezer, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google, Alexa, Amazon Music, the whole 9 yards. Favorite podcast site. Find us. We're there. What's up?
Good to hear that you got your microphone fixed there, buddy. Really appreciate that. Makes you sound better.
Yeah, sound great.
Nice face, Filthy Rich. What was that all about?
I didn't know whose microphone you were talking about.
No, Judge's, it wasn't working when he was talking about his list a few minutes ago.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
The humble speech I had to just give him for, how humble he was. All right, that'll do it for us this week. Next week, we're going to be back with a game segment next week, so that should be fun. I'm still in the process of writing it, so you guys can have either a mute bet or a Tecate bet. We'll figure out what the stakes are after the game is finished. It should be fun. I have some fun ideas for that, so make sure you tune in for that. And once again, as James said, we did change the YouTube channel, so make sure you change your bookmark. It's youtube.com/Brews and Boxing. No longer Raider Live, it's Brews and Boxing, because it's all about the show. It's all about all of us, not just me. All right, for Judge Jimmy James and Filthy Rich, I am Raider Live. Thank you for joining us, and we will see you guys next week.